There you go.
Got that done. No. Let's see if I can share my screen. All right, Coach Sophia, are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Awesome. Welcome to everyone that's coming in. It is 8 o'clock on the dot, and there are a bunch of people still filtering into the Zoom. So I'm going to give it about one more minute, then we're going to dive in and get started here. Thanks to everyone that's joined. We're going to get going in like 15, 20 seconds here as soon as I see the logins start to settle down. All right, we're going to get going. So, welcome to another season of track and field at St. A's, and thanks for taking the time tonight to kick things off with us. Here's our agenda for the evening, and you can see that we've got a big team, 103 athletes, and we're well represented across both girls and boys and all of the grades. We'll have plenty of time for questions this evening, so if you can, try and hold your questions at the till the end. And we are going to cover a lot because for those that have been doing this for a while, you know that track and field has a lot of stuff associated with it. Um,
Hey, Nick, it looks like you have your screen sharing paused.
Sharing pause. All right. Thanks for shouting at me. Let's see. Why is it doing that? Did that fix it? Do we see
Fixed.
our coaches? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Cool. Well, let me jump back here then so that I could land the point I was speaking to, which is we have a big team and we're well represented and we got a lot to talk about tonight. So we've got an awesome coaching staff, and I never miss an opportunity to brag about them because not only is the staff large, but there's so much expertise here from folks that have run or participated in this sport at elite levels in high school and college, have coached at those levels, and just as importantly, so many of them have taught or coached at the middle school and junior high level, and being able to take these concepts and have a lot of expertise, but present it in a way that a middle school athlete can absorb and that's appropriate to that level is really important. And it's so awesome that we have such a great staff to do that. Not everybody could make it this evening, but for those that I know are here, I'm gonna shout out their name. They're gonna introduce themselves quickly, let you know how long they've been coaching, if they have an athlete on the team, and maybe a fun fact, because we do have a big team, we do have a big staff, and we think it's important that you know who your athletes are spending time with. So I'll start with Coach Agnew. She was a maybe. I'm not sure she's here. All right, I'll move on to Coach DeLucine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anne DeLucine. I'm excited to be coaching this season again. I've been helping coach for the past 3 years now. I also have two kids on the team, Caitlin and Teddy. They're both in sixth grade. Um, I helped coach cross country in the fall, so it kind of naturally led me to coaching track. I also competed in track all 4 years in high school, and I've continued to be a runner ever since then. So I just think it's a great individual sport, it's a great team sport, and it's really fun working with kids across all different grade levels at the school. So I'm looking forward to a fun season ahead.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Gabriel. I believe this is my second year helping out. I have Nick Gonzalez with he's in sixth grade, and I ran track and cross country all through high school.
Thanks, Gabe. Coach Pellerite?
And then that's got me muted.
Yeah, hey everyone, Matt Pellerite. Nice to meet you all. I've met many of you because I have a bunch of kids that go to school with your kids. I have three kids on the track team this year, our eighth grader Elizabeth, sixth grader Patrick, and fourth grader who is new to track Violet. I've helped out with cross country and track the last couple of years, and I think it's really a testament to a program this big that has this many athletes that we get to know the athletes on an individual basis and that the athletes feel connected to a team this big. And it's kind of magic that it comes together. And I think it's because of all the great organization and all these great coaches. So excited to be a part of it another year.
Thanks, Matt. Coach Rogoff?
Hi, everyone. I'm
Well,
Lisa
It's been a coach last few years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Rogoff. This will be my second year coaching track, and I coached cross country for 2 years. I have Oliver in sixth grade and Maddie in fourth grade, and super excited to work with all the kids and have a great season. It's just been such an awesome experience. I have never run competitively, but I love running. So I'm usually the person bringing up the back of the pack.
thanks, Lisa. Coach Sophia?
Hi, everyone. I am Sandra Sophia, and I was a teacher for 25 plus years in Okemos, Michigan, and was a runner back in my own hometown. I've been working alongside Nick since, gosh, this is my fifth year, so I started the program with him. And I have a granddaughter, Ava, who is now in fifth grade, who also started the program with Coach Nick. And I think that it is, in my mind, a healthy, wholesome, great place to be, teaches kids lifelong skills in terms of being together, working hard, gaining goals, and just a great way to spend your time. So I'm really happy to be here again this year. Thanks.
Thanks, Sandra. Coach Rutledge, another OG on the staff.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. John Rutledge. I have one son left on the track team, and he's in eighth grade, and I've been with the team for 5 years now. I did not do track and field in high school. However, I did get chased by bear in the Smoky Mountains as a kid, and that was probably the fastest I ever ran. So there you have it.
Coach Rutledge has also been our head field coach for the last 5 years, so you'll see him a lot working with your athletes, teaching them how to throw shot put, javelin. He built a little high jump for us that we use in the gym. So thanks, John. And
Absolutely.
Coach Kustak.
Hi, Nicole Kustak. I think I see a lot of familiar faces too. I have also coached for 4 years cross country and track here. A little bit before that, kids younger and older. I did run in cross country or run in high school and college. I'd probably take the other side of Coach Lisa and say I'm not sure I enjoyed any of it, but I do really enjoy track. I thought Nick was when he said fun fact, I panicked, but then I just thought of one, and I don't even know that it's true. But I heard there are 5 coaches on the staff with the middle name Lee, spelled Lee. So I'll let you try and figure out at home if you need a guess who game. One of them is me, but I don't. It shocked me that there are 5. I know a couple.
Me and Rutledge, I bet you got 3. Wow, that's a crazy fact. If you
Justin's
hear
middle name is Lee as well.
crazy.
By extension, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Coach Kustak's voice is probably the one that you'll hear or see in email most often next to mine. She does a lot of the logistics for some of the other meets. So if you're not hearing from me, it's probably Coach Kustak that you're going to hear from. And I see that Coach Esquera is on the line as well. You'd like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, my first year helping out with the track team. My son Leo is in fourth grade, and he ran cross country this fall, and it was just such a great experience, not just as a parent, but for him, obviously, it was incredible. Extremely impressed with the knowledge and support and just kindness of the coaching staff, and I say that very sincerely. So I'm, very delighted to be joining them. But we had a great experience, and I'm really looking forward to it. I ran track in college, and I now, after I retired, I'm an assistant coach at the men's tennis team at DePaul University. So I coach tennis, and I'm just reconnecting with track again after many years out of the loop. So very happy to be a part of this crew. So thank you, Nick and Nicole and everybody.
Absolutely. And I'm Coach Robertson, Coach Nick. This is my 5th year doing this. My youngest is in 8th grade. I just saw a picture last weekend of my oldest, who's a sophomore in college, when he was a 4th grader on the track team, part of a relay, and some 6th grade boys with their arms around him. And it was because I ran into one of those 6th grade boys at a charity event who has now since graduated school. And I was just reminded how special the program was to me back then and why I decided to start coaching in the first place. So awesome. Thanks everyone for making it this evening. We're going to start with philosophy. I like to do this because this does inform how we plan practices, how we build lineups for meets, the words that the coaches and I use with your athletes. And so first and foremost, we want them to love what they're doing. That's whether they are someone that is planning to go to state this year and wants to really be pushed to make sure that they hit the time to do it, or it's an athlete that's coming to the team for the first time and isn't sure she even belongs. It's our responsibility to meet them all where they're at and to help them gain in confidence and gain in ability. And more than anything, we want them to leave this season really loving it and wanting to do it again. We want them to love one another. I describe this as brotherly love, sibling love. We know that they aren't all friends. They're not all going to hang out outside of practice, but you support your siblings. You have their back. You respect them. You're always there for them. We do not have any cliques on this team. We don't tease anyone. That is absolutely zero tolerance when it comes to that. And I think it's one of the things that you're going to see and appreciate most about the program, that boys and girls of various ages supporting one another, but we're very focused on that in practice. That is an absolute baseline that we have to have. We want them to learn something about this sport that they'll be able to use forever. And look, that's whether they are going to do this in high school, and we want them to walk onto that high school team and feel like, I know what's going on here. I've seen this drill before. I feel comfortable. I'm ready to excel. Or grade school is the last time they do it. They're in their mid-20s, maybe working a desk job, and they haven't been active in a while. They want to get out and do that, and they remember some things they heard from the coaches and like the right way to get into that. And then finally, we want our coaches especially and athletes to model good leadership. We have 31 8th graders on the team this year, so we'll have lots of opportunities to work with them and help position them as leaders on the team. But from the coaches, we think about leadership as creating clarity, delivering results, and generating energy. And you should feel all 3 of those things from us all season long. It's important that we model good leadership. When it comes to our responsibilities, I am not going to read through all of this. I will send the deck to you after the meeting, but there are a few things that I think it's important that you know. First of all, Team Snap is the single source of truth. Everything you need to know about where your athlete needs to be, when, how to get there, we endeavor to have it all in Team Snap. So please make sure you and anyone else in your house that's responsible for getting your athlete where they need to be, that they have a login to TeamSnap. Second is, in this spring zone with a lot of quick changing weather, we are definitely going to have some practices that get affected by thunderstorms. We're going to have to cancel, do something, but we hate to cancel practice. And so we are always watching the weather very closely. You'll hear from us 1 hour before if we need to cancel practice. I mentioned this already, but it is our responsibility to develop athletes regardless of ability and regardless of expertise in the sport. We're going to meet them where they're at. We're going to develop them at the level that is appropriate. And finally, and most importantly, we've got a large team and we don't have a space. We're not at a track. We move down Lincoln, we go to the park. We want to keep everyone safe and make sure that it's a safe and fun environment. That's absolutely number one. In terms of what we could use from you, these are the three big ones. First is RSVP for meets in TeamSnap and share your athletes' event preferences by the deadline that we give. You'll get plenty more information on what that means and how to do it. But setting a lineup for track is, I don't even want to tell you how many hours it takes, but there's a lot of dependencies because we only get a certain number of entries per gender, per age, per event, and we like to take all of your athletes' considerations in mind and put them in the events that they want to do, but there are a ton of dependencies there. And so getting everybody's RSVP and knowing what they want to do to give the coaches and I a day or so to work through the lineup is really important. Second, yes, please commit to TeamSnap. When we know who's coming to practice, we can plan a much more effective practice. All of our communications, emails, texts, everything is in there. And then finally, please make sure your athlete is healthy enough to attend practice. I know this one can be tricky for track and field because the injuries are soft tissue and muscle, and they're not things that are agonizing pain, but they can be things that kind of just bother them and they don't know if they're healthy or not, healthy enough or not to go. Pick up the phone, call one of us, send us a message, talk to us beforehand. But it's really hard when we have 70 athletes coming out of the building and we're trying to run them a half mile down the road to the park and one or two of them says, "Hey coach, I hurt my ankle. I can't run today." That takes one of our coaches completely offline to figure it out. So please have that conversation with your athlete. Ask a coach if you have questions, but don't send them to practice if they're hurt or if they're worried about running. Give them a day to rest. They can come back the next day. We will expect if they're there and we hear that, like, "Oh, coach, I'm hurt," we're going to expect that they talked to you. And this is more of a like, let's try to work through it type thing. And we don't want to do that if someone is legitimately hurt. Okay. And then finally, from your athletes' responsibilities, look, a few ones here to touch on. We want them to go hard. We want them to challenge themselves. This is part of the learning of track and field. Coach Kustak could have hit on a little bit when she said, "I'm not sure if I've ever liked any of it." We hope they all like it. But part of this is pushing them out of their comfort zone and teaching them that they can do that. They can get out of their comfort zone. It's not as bad as they thought. And then that builds confidence and it builds this sort of life skill of doing that. From a communication perspective, again, because of our numbers, when a coach is talking, we expect that they are quiet, their eyes are on the coach, and they're listening. We don't expect anything differently than a teacher would expect, or their hockey coach, or their lacrosse coach. Same thing. They need to be at practice on time, wearing the gear that they want to practice in, and having a full water bottle. And they're treating their teammates with compassion, as I mentioned, and the grounds. Some of these meets are really big, a lot of different teams. We've got a lot of stuff. We want to see our athletes throwing garbage where it belongs, picking up after themselves. A couple more things to mention here in terms of athlete responsibilities. After the meeting this evening, I'll send an email out and there'll be a link in there to a YouTube playlist. There are 11 short videos, anywhere from 30 seconds to a couple minutes, all 11 videos in total, 18 minutes. This is the kickoff for the athletes. Tells them what they can expect at practice, at meets, what the uniforms look like. We talk to them in the videos about what their responsibilities are, but they have from now until we start in about a week to watch the videos. And then for accountability, we do a 3-strike system. If an athlete is misbehaving at practice, whether it's me or another coach that has to correct them, I will talk to them. Number one. If it happens again, I will talk to them and I will send you a note to let them know that I've had to talk to them 2 times. If it happens for a 3rd time, we're going to ask them to sit out for some extended period of time. Again, with the numbers being what they are, we really rely on the athletes to be focused and pay attention. All right, let's talk a little bit about practice and when that's going to happen. We start tomorrow for our experienced middle distance runners. So most of you know who you are, but these would be returning athletes to track and field that run the 400 or a longer distance or cross country, and usually the ones that are kind of chomping at the bit to get out there and get going. 3 days for them this week. We start tomorrow at 7 a.m. Wednesday, we're going after school, and Friday at 7:15 a.m. And then this Sunday starts the official preseason for 5th to 8th grade. So 5th to 8th grade, we start on Sunday at the Loyola track. The preseason's a couple weeks. We'll go Sundays, Tuesdays before school, and Wednesdays after school. Then we hit that spring break week. And after spring break, when we get into the regular season for 5th to 8th grade, we go Tuesdays and Fridays before school, Wednesdays after school. So a couple of other notes here. Yes, no practice during spring break. Practices generally start at St. A's. We run about a half mile down the road to Leahy Park or to Long Field. We do drills in the park. Usually how practices work, we break up into 3 or 4 stations and we have the athletes moving around to different stations, whether they're training a field skill and a running skill or different running stations. We try to keep it moving and try to expose them to a lot of different things during practice. For our, okay, one more thing here before we get into spring break, and then we'll talk about the 4th grade season. There are a couple of new things this season. For those that are in town during spring break and you're looking for something to do, there is a clinic at Hope Academy on Saturday, March 28th in the morning. There are a variety of different sessions being run by high school coaches, hurdles, long jump, sprints, blocks, handoffs. I'll send out more information. This is the first time this group is doing it. It's being organized by the same folks that put the meets on at Hope Academy. So I honestly can't speak to how good this is going to be. I would file this under if you are home for spring break and the kids are making you nuts and you're telling them to get out of the house and run, maybe come to the clinic. I'll probably be down there, especially if we have a number of athletes going down. And then on Sunday, March 29th, there is a meet. It's an indoor meet. We've never done an indoor meet before as a team. It's also one that requires that we submit a seed for your athlete, meaning they have to have a prior result from last track season or from the cross country season or winter. The top 18 to 30 or so athletes in each event get in. So this is kind of a weird one in that I can't tell you if your athlete gets to participate until a few days before the meet. But again, I would file this under if you're in town and your athlete wants something to do, it's going to be an experiment for us. We've never taken the team down to a meet at Gately, but for those that want to do it, could be a good time and a nice early meet before we start outside. Okay, 4th graders, you start after spring break. You have your own dedicated practice this year for an hour on Tuesdays after school. And then Fridays, you go with the whole team before school. First meet for everybody is April 12th. That includes 4th grade. So it's a quick start. You have 2 practices and then you're off to a meet, but it's perfect because the last thing we want the 4th graders to do is overthinking anything. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's a pretty basic sport. We get out there, we try to run faster than the person next to us. So they always do really well at the first meet. And we are trying, you'll see the meet schedule right now. We've got 3 meets for 4th grade that have dedicated 4th grade division, dedicated 4th grade events. We're trying to find something in that first weekend of May to finish off the season. Haven't found the perfect fit just yet, but we're looking for something there. Okay, meet schedule. Again, all this is in Team Snap. I'm not going to walk through everything, but for those that have been with the team for a while, I do want to call out a few things that are different. The first 2 meets of the year after this indoor one that I already talked about are at Hope Academy. The fourth grade division this year is happening on its own. So fourth grade on April 12th and the 19th is scheduled to be from 12 to 1. Fourth graders have never been, they've always kind of mixed in with fifth through eighth. So we'll see how this goes. I suspect it's going to take a little longer than an hour, so don't get too excited, fourth grade parents. But that is the plan, that fourth grade will run all their events between 12 and 1, and then fifth to eighth grade will be going before or after. On April 12th, our fifth to eighth grade goes after. So it's an afternoon meet. I do expect that it stretches into the evening. On April 19th, fifth through eighth grade is in the morning, and our fourth graders run after. For those that haven't done this before, track and field meets. I can tell you when they start for the most part. Can't tell you how long they're going to go. Can't tell you exactly when your athlete's going to compete. And they take 5 to 6 hours. So that's just the way it is. There's a lot of awesome things about track and field. That's maybe not one of them. But, the athletes themselves have a lot of fun. We've got a great tent, plenty of places for them to hang out. They are with their peers, they are with their friends. But yes, as a spectator sport, it is a long day. So we've got a couple Windy City meets. Then we're going back to Loyola, which is awesome. Fourth through eighth grade all kind of compete together in that one. It's close to home. The school does a great job, very accommodating. Then with the Evanston meet this year, it's moved to a Saturday morning as opposed to a Friday. The Evanston meet is the first one where we're going to have a limited team. They only have 3 divisions, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We will build our most competitive roster across 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and we only get 2 entries per event in those grades. So all you really need to know now is that the whole team will not be participating in that meet. And then we push into the championship part of the schedule. Sectionals, kind of the same way. I'll send out some more information on sectionals after the meeting this evening, but this is also a meet that we only take a handful of athletes that have the opportunity to make it to state. For those that don't know, the way making it to state works in track and field, it's always individual. It doesn't matter what the team does. You qualify as an individual. You either have to win your event at sectionals or you hit a pre-published standard. And the standards are pretty tough. And our philosophy is take the athletes that have the ability to hit the standard. So it's usually a small group. We want to focus all of our coaching time and energy on them and do everything we can to help get them to state. So that will be a smaller group going to sectionals. I do expect that it's also going to be competitive this year. This might be the first year where we may have more than 2. We can put 2 athletes in any one event. We might have more than 2 that can hit the standard. What you can expect from us is we will communicate early and often. This won't come as a surprise to your athletes, but sometimes it can be tough to make lineup calls. And in addition to the results that they're posting, it will come down to how they're showing up at practice, what's their work ethic, a variety of different things like that. But more to come. Then we'll have a state meet in Peoria, and then we have a 5th grade all-team meet, CYOs, to wrap up the year. For the last 3 years, we've won CYOs. We've won pretty handily. This is kind of the moment that the whole team looks to come back together as a big team and put a win on the board. And if we win at CYOs, we get to put a year on the banner in the gym. So we've done that the last 3 years. I think that's about all for now. Again, plenty of time for questions here. We're getting close to the end. Any questions you have on the meet schedule, I'm happy to hit them. I just wanted to share an example of what a typical meet might look like. Again, I'll share this after. I'm not going to go through everything. And each meet can be a little different. Some have a certain relay, some don't. But for the most part, 4th graders have a smaller set of events, no relays, less field events, a couple of events on the track from shorter distances to an 800, which is pretty long for a 4th grader. And then 5th through 8th grade, you add in some relays, you add in a few distances, and you add in a number of field events. Usually the divisions at the meets, there's a fourth grade dedicated division, fifth through seventh, and eighth. But again, before any meet, we'll tell you how it's all going to play out. Last thing really to say here about meets is you will get a lot of information from us in the week leading up to a meet. So again, make sure you stay clued in to TeamSnap. We may make some changes or add some meets for those that were on the team last year. You'll remember there was a weekday series. We did 3 or 4 meets in the city at Montrose Harbor. There's a track, it's called the Wilson Track Series, that will probably start mid-April. I don't think, Coach Cusack, that we have the dates on that yet, but when we do, we'll let you know. So that would be, instead of going to practice on a Tuesday or Wednesday, you'd have the opportunity to go run a quick meet. Usually we ask athletes to be an hour to the meet, an hour before it starts, and they can always leave right after their last event. In terms of what they do, most meets allow an athlete to participate in up to 4 events, especially early in the season. We really like to know what they want to do. A big part of how we put the lineup together is asking for their input. And at the same time, we like to push them out of their comfort zone. Like I said, because of the size of our team, everybody can't run the 100-meter. We get capped at a certain number. So we also ask them to do other things to be a good teammate. So a teammate can try an event and they do something different. But for the most part, we're always trying to kind of balance athlete preferences with the number of entries that we get and us trying to develop your young athletes and push them a little bit out of their comfort zone. The meets are long, prepare accordingly, bring sunscreen. Everybody gets burnt at the first meet. All right. A few last things here. We always get the shoe question and the track spikes question. My going in position would be you don't need to buy new shoes and you don't need spikes. Whatever they're running in or comfortable in today, that's fine. Looks like I might have gotten a chat question here. Let's see. Nope. All right. That's fine. If they do need new shoes anyway, and so you're buying them something that they're going to be using at practice, a few things to keep in mind, and this is really hard these days because all the shoes that are being put out by all the running companies have big heels and big pad between where your foot is and where the ground is. As much as you can, try to find a shoe that has minimum heel to toe drop, so a small heel, and minimal stack height. Stack height is the distance between the ground and your actual foot. A couple shoes that I like and some of the other coaches like for young athletes, the Nike Free, the Pegasus Plus, or the Nike Structure 26. I'm kind of a Nike nerd, so if you don't like Nikes, you could look at those examples and try and find something similar in another brand. But again, those shoes have some flex. They've got a little bit smaller of a heel and they're not super padded. The reason we talk about this, and I've got this little picture down here, people were meant to run like this picture of barefoot. Your Achilles is completely stretched out, your foot is flat on the ground. What happens is they wear shoes and it props their heel up, it shortens their Achilles, and they're walking around in not a natural way. And so we've got to do a lot of things at practice just to work on their flexibility, to work on their balance, to make sure that they can run for a while and that stuff doesn't get sore, right? And if you have a shoe that just pronounces that, it makes it harder. Or if you've got a big stack height and we're working on balance, I don't know if any of you have worn any of these shoes with the carbon fiber plates, you're a little tippy. We really don't want that. If we could run around in bare feet, that's what we would do. And then when it comes to spikes, you can see it pronounces it even more because you've got a spike plate on the front of the shoe. And so now you've gone from your kind of Achilles like this, now it's totally stretched out. So when you think about spikes, I'd say most athletes don't need them. If you're really competitive and you're looking for an edge, great. Certainly if you're trying for sectionals, that's going to be something you want to do. For the most part, I'd say start the season. If you find that your athlete really enjoys it, great. You can think about spikes. Another thing to keep in mind, we don't wear them all day like most sports. You warm up in your normal shoes, you put your spikes on right before your event, and then they come right off. So if you're not sure that your athlete can manage doing that and not lose their spikes during the meet, which believe me, I have a lot in my house that was like that. My oldest that I talked about earlier, he wore normal shoes all the way through eighth grade. He would have just lost them. Then you don't need them. But any questions, reach out. But I would say like kind of the default here, don't feel like you need to run out and go get spikes. Also, there are a lot of parents and athletes in prior years that probably have them. So before you buy, you might want to check around the team and see if anybody has a spare pair. And if you are going to get them, Dick Pond and Park Ridge, they've got a good website. They got a ton of youth sizes. So that's the spiel on shoes and spikes. Everybody's going to get a uniform, fourth grade through eighth grade. We'll communicate more when that happens. They'll have a number written inside the jersey. They're nice uniforms. We've had them for a couple of years. Under Armour. They are track uniforms like you'd get in high school. So especially for the boys, the shorts are kind of short. Just know if they're not comfortable for you, you can wear something else. Also, you can wear anything that you want underneath the uniform, compression shorts, tights. A lot of our athletes appreciate a pair of compression shorts under their shorts. And again, anything under the jersey as well is fine. And then all of our meets are electronically timed, and you can follow and get results in real time in an application called athletic.net, and we will always send that out to you before the meet. So we're going to end on goals. And these goals are really kind of in stack ranked order. I mean, first and foremost, we want every athlete on the team to create one goal for themselves. If they want to do more, that's great. If they want to do something outside of track and field, we'll always ask them to think about an academic goal or some other pursuit outside of sports. Credit to Coach Kustok for bringing this to the team and trying to kind of get this discipline of setting goals instilled in the athletes at a young age. But at a minimum, thinking about creating one track and field goal for themselves and then going out and setting a PR, getting a personal record. This sport is all about throwing a goal out there that seems scary and barely achievable and working your butt off and doing it and feeling great about it. And we want that for everyone on this team. We want all of you to agree that this is a positive experience, well organized, strong communication. In terms of team wins, we have big numbers in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. It's really hard to go compete against the Havens and Shoots and Nichols of the world that are, 3-4 times our size. But we got a strong team this year, and think we have an opportunity to do really well in the Evanston Conference Championships. We sent, I think, 11 athletes to state last year across individual events and relays. We want to send more this year. And then again, we want to win CYOs as a team. So wrapping up in terms of how you can help other than what you're already doing and all the support that you give us throughout the season and spending these long Sundays with us. We will ask for volunteers at events. Meets always need volunteers to help do things like run a long jump pit or high jump or help with some of the relays. We'll have a parent send out a link for a sign up genius for snacks at the tent for healthy snacks so that our athletes have a way to fuel up. Any photos or videos are awesome. There are so many great opportunities to snag wonderful photos at a meet. Or if you get videos and you want to send it to the coaches and I, and we can take a look at your athlete, we can't see all of them on meet day, but it's awesome to get some footage of them throwing or jumping or running, and we can usually see something in there and use it as an opportunity to coach. And this last one, if you see something, say something. When we have 100 athletes for 6 hours at our tent, and the coaches and I are running around just trying to make sure that everybody's where they need to be so that they don't miss their event and encourage them when they're on the track or on the runway. We do not have perfect visibility into what's going on, nor can we kind of keep our tabs on everyone at all times. So if you're at the meet and you're hanging around the tent and one of our athletes is behaving in a way that you know they shouldn't, and it's not yours, we're all part of the same team. Please compassionately and respectfully tell them to stop and tell them to be a good teammate and a good representative of St. A's. And we are going to hammer this home with them. That's always one of our meet goals, that we show up well and that other teams look at ours and say like, wow, look at that crew at St. A, such a great group of young people. All right. And with that, we've wrapped up everything that we wanted to get through, and we can move on to questions. So what questions do you have? And I'm happy to pop a slide that I already showed if you want to look back at the schedule or anything else. Just shout at me because I can't see everybody on the Zoom. There's so many, so you can just come off mute and holler at me.
Hey Nick, this is Claire Zulke. This is Paul's first spring. He's really excited, but he often has an inhaler just in case he doesn't have like strong asthma. But if is doing the run home or like the morning run, should he just hang that onto it like in his hand, or just make sure he has it in his backpack? Like, what do you recommend for kids who keep inhalers around?
Yeah, you can do that. And Claire, depending on how many we have like that, it's usually one or two. I always have a little pack on me, so Paul can run down to the park with that. He can give it to me. I can keep it with me throughout the practice. So that will work just fine. What other questions do you have?
Hey Nick, it's Raj. Is there I mean, with a 3 day a week practice, but other activities that kids have, is there a minimum requirement that you want them coming to practice, or is it a hey, come whenever you can sort of deal?
Yeah, it's a come whenever you can sort of deal. I think honestly, as track coaches, that's how we have to live. We are not anybody's primary sport usually. And the same thing is true in high school. So our opinion is come when you can. If that's one day a week, if you miss a week, whatever it is, you will still be welcome with open arms when you come. You will still be welcome to compete for us. The one thing I would say about that is we do expect them when they come to be focused and productive teammates. So if they don't come much and then when they do come, they're kind of goofing around, that doesn't work very well for us. But if when they come, they work hard, hey, all about it. And they'll just have to manage for themselves. Sometimes we're doing a lot of work in the course of a week. They might miss a few and might come back. It'll be hard because they've missed that, but usually they're missing because they're doing other sports and they're keeping fit in other ways. But does that answer the question?
Sure does. Thank you.
All right. What other questions do you have?
Coach Nick, it's Megan Doyle. Quick question. What time of day are the CYOs? Because Evanston High School graduation is that morning. And I know Claire would be really bummed to miss the meet.
Usually see what I haven't gotten the official invite yet, Megan, but usually the woman that runs that meet starts at like 8 a.m. and it goes till 12 or so. That one goes a little quicker, but I think that's about the timing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions? Coaches, anything that you wanted to add that I missed or went through too quickly that you think's worth emphasizing? Okay. Well, I'll stay on. You all are welcome to leave. If there's anybody that had a question that you'd rather ask it in a smaller group, I'm gonna stay on till you all disappear. But otherwise, thanks again for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you at school and seeing you on the track.
Thank you.
Thank you, coaches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Nick, I have Harrison, Braden, and Miles in the morning. So I will make sure, well, I'll have Harrison's backpack. I'll bring it in the car with me, so you won't have to worry about his. Because I can't remember if Bachman's are taking to practice tomorrow, but anyway. Um, but if you, I'll just plan on grabbing their bags, or they will have, they'll grab, I'll have them grab their bags from you at Longfield before you start going back. Does that work?
It does. I'm
Be-
just
Because
going
if
to
you do need me
tell.
to stop at Lindley, if like it's too much or whatever, I can stop at Lindley.
No, let's try this tomorrow. I think I'm gonna remind all of the athletes, those that have ETHS math, that they're gonna get picked up at Long, and I'll ask them to throw their backpacks in my car, and I'll drive them down there so you don't have to make another stop or wade through the backpacks there and make sure you got the correct one. We'll see how this goes, but I think for tomorrow we'll try that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and first couple days might be a little rough, but we'll figure it all out together like we did. Hey, we got a good system after cross country, so we'll figure it
Yes.
out. We'll make it happen. All right. Thanks, coach.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bridget.
Yeah, hey Nick, how are you doing? I have Graham, who's in fourth grade this year, and then Chloe in eighth grade, both doing track. I just wondered if there was any flexibility given his experience already with cross country to sometimes go to the older kid practices.
Yeah, actually, Bridget, I put this note on there, but I didn't actually say it, that occasionally we ask a fourth grade cross country runner who's pretty strong cross country runner to join fifth through eighth, and Graham's like the one on the list that I know we're gonna ask. So he's welcome to start with fifth to eighth grade and to come with Chloe. He can handle what we're doing.
I appreciate that. But if he wants to go to the fourth grade practices when he does, it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Thank you. See you
You're
later.
welcome.